What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. It's Friday. I'm T3, which means it's time for a T3 watch rant. Now, for some of my more astute viewers, you'll notice, hey, T3's wearing the same stuff that he was wearing on the Monday episode and the Wednesday episode. It's because I filmed these all in quick succession. Because Connie and I are going on a little trip this weekend. We're going to camp, and it was a really busy weekend. There was a Jewish holiday, and I film when I can, guys. Okay, give me a freaking break. You can tell I'm already in a bad mood because I just realized something. I don't like modern Rolexes. I know. This is a difficult thing to rant about. Okay, because I've said it a million times. My two favorite companies are Seiko and Rolex. But maybe I've been lying to you. Maybe I've been lying to myself. Maybe I don't like Rolex. Maybe my favorite companies are Seiko and vintage Rolex. The truth is just all coming out right now. It's just coming out like a waterfall. It's just water. There's water behind me. No, not like a romantic waterfall, like a geyser. It's 7:51 p.m. Let's get down to business. Alright guys, so this is a rant, but it's going to be somewhat of a structured rant, and I know this episode has already been derailed, but I've made a little list. I know, I don't normally do lists on Friday episodes, but listen, I had to kind of make sense of what was going on in my brain. Number one, what is with Rolex's current case size? Case design, I should say. Like, okay, they've kept some of the watches at 40 millimeters. I say 40 millimeters very loosely because they wear enormously. Okay, these are not true oyster cases. These watches are ginormous. They're huge. The lugs are boxy, and I've said it 1,000 times on this channel. Rolex does a very good job of making their oyster cases wear larger than they list on paper, right? That's why you can wear some really old school vintage Rolexes and they still take up a good amount of real estate on your wrist because, again, oyster cases, by nature, they just wear a little bit larger. So why make the lugs even chunkier, even boxier? These 40 millimeter Submariners do not wear like 40 millimeter watches. They're way too big. It's okay, huge, boxy, not sleek at all. And guess what? Brings us to number two. They're getting bigger. The Yachtmaster. Okay, they released it, I think, in white gold, black bezel. Looks really sleek, looks really nice, but huge. And who could forget the beloved Explorer 2? Now guys, I'm wearing my 16570. This is a true oyster case at 40 millimeters and it wears very nicely on my 7.5-inch wrist. But now the Explorer 2s are 42 millimeters. You put those on your wrist and it's like wearing an Invicta. That's one of the meanest things I've ever said about a Rolex. Number three, the current Daytonas are not great. Now guys, that's kind of just my opinion, okay? Because I know some of you guys really love the current Daytonas. I think that when you compare them to the ones from the days of old, these new ones, man, they're just not doing it for me. And I keep trying to get into them. I don't know, I feel like there's only two current Daytonas that I might personally wear, and it's the Everose with the chocolate dial or I believe it's just stainless steel with the blue dial. I'm not talking about baby blue. I'm talking about the darker blue. But yeah, that's two out of a ton of different variants. The vintage Daytonas, that's where it's at. And lastly, what I'll say before I get into like the second part of the episode is that even if you do find a modern Rolex that you like, good luck getting one because it is an absolute headache, okay? Rolex has made things more and more difficult to get, all right? And it's a huge bummer because for a basic stainless steel Submariner, you shouldn't be put on a wait list, but yet some people are, and it's just a huge bummer, guys. When there's a plethora of vintage Rolexes in very good condition that have aged so gracefully that I think are much better buys than a modern Rolex, there's really no point to throw a whole bunch of money down and wait a good long while and give yourself the freaking gray hairs for these modern Rolexes. Just jump into the vintage market, guys. I mean, you cannot go wrong. And this isn't even, I know I'm a vintage seller. now of wristwatches. I don't even have a single Rolex at the T3 shop. And at the time of filming, I never have. So I really have no dog in this fight. You know, eventually I'd love to have some Rolexes on the site, but this isn't even coming from any form of bias. It's just, when there's so many nice vintage Rolexes that are very easily attained, you know, it's money. You're still gonna have to pay a lot of money, but they're there. They're there for the taking. No wait lists, no weird down payments, no weird back-end deals, haggling. Just, there's really no point in getting a modern Rolex. I know, harsh statement. Now, okay, it's time for the second part of the episode. Now, I really dogged on modern Rolex. I really gave it to him. I stuck it to him. But I think, to be fair, you know, there were those 2 Daytonas that I think I'd be okay with when it comes to their modern catalog. But there's also 2 watches, or I should say 2 modern Rolexes that aren't Daytonas that I would actually buy right now. Okay, because I gotta be perfectly honest with you. There are 2 modern Rolexes that every time I see them, like, hold up. Okay. One is the root beer. Okay, whether it be the two-tone or the full Everose, that root beer looks great, and I'm happy to say that they did not sell well, so hopefully in the future, that's gonna be the one to get. And the next one is the Sky Dweller in Everose with that slate kind of gunmetal dial. Ooh. I love it so much. That was a bit sexual. But yeah, those are 2 badass looking watches. I'm not even a huge Everose rose gold fan, but these watches, man, they pull it off so well. And they're modern Rolexes, so I gotta be honest, there are a couple modern Rolexes I guess I like, but for the most part, man, vintage is top tier. So let's talk about the top tier vintage. Now we're gonna get it out of the way. Okay, I have a few vintage Rolexes in my collection that I love very, very much. My Submariner 16800, gorgeous, from the 80s. My Rolex Bubbleback 2940, that's from the 1940s, very, very old. My Rolex Date 1500, 34mm stainless steel, absolutely gorgeous, from the 1960s. And this is technically not vintage yet, my 16570 Rolex Explorer 2. This is from the later 90s, so I guess technically it's not vintage just yet, but it's on the cusp. So soon you will be vintage. But although this is not technically vintage, it's far from current. Let's get that straight. But there are many a vintage Rolex that I have yet to add to my collection that I would absolutely love. First, I've mentioned it in numerous videos lately, the 36mm white gold Stealth Wealth President. Man, that's a good looking watch. Man, who doesn't love a white gold President? And 36mm, so understated, flies right under the radar, but you know what you got. That is a badass watch. Next up, the Rolex 6062. Now guys, in one of my very first episodes on this channel where I listed my future grails, this was on the list. Reference number 6062, one of the most elegant executions of a moon phase with the triple date, gorgeous watch. The layout is just so classic, and again, you're getting a threaded crown with that oyster case, so this is kind of one of those really functional watches that you could feasibly wear every day, assuming you get it serviced and everything's nice and kosher. But again, you're getting that moon phase, you're getting that triple date. You can get it in stainless steel or yellow gold. I don't know which one I like more. If I could, I'd get both of them. But seriously, I heard Nicolas Cage has one of these. Makes me so mad because we have to steal it from him. No, we have to steal it from him. Okay, he has the audacity to try to steal our Declaration of Independence. Well, guess what, Nick? I'm gonna go ahead and steal your 6062. It's only fair. You want to take our country's one of the most important documents to our freedom, and you think that you're above the law, that no one's going to do the same thing to you? Well, guess what, bud? Next purge, okay? If the purge ever happens, I'm not going to kill anybody. No. Everybody's going to be trying to hurt each other. Everybody's going to be trying to kill each other. I'm going to be coming for your 6062. We are getting demonetized. Next up, Rolex 1016. Man, this is the Explorer to get. Don't worry, Explorer 2, I love you, but I'd get rid of you in a second for a 1016. Let's get that clear right now. Rolex 1016, dude, 36 mil, stainless steel, gilt black dial, perfectly patinated indexes and hands. Gorgeous. Love it. I love it. And the final vintage Rolex that I really want to talk about today is the Clint Eastwood root beer. So I said the modern root beer in its Ever Rose configuration, or its two-tone stainless steel Ever Rose configuration, is gorgeous. This one, no Ever Rose, it's yellow gold, typically on a Jubilee, although you can find them on oyster bracelets. Now these are totally, oh, they age so nicely. And guys, they aren't super duper popular. Actually, I heard Bradley Cooper had one. Guess what, Brad? Next purge? When I'm done at Nick's house? I'm kidding. Seriously. But yeah, these weren't super popular. So there are actually a bunch of really nice examples out there on the secondhand market, the vintage market, and they haven't totally skyrocketed in price. You can typically find them well under the 15 grand mark. Above 10 though, typically. I'm gonna say average 12. So still a whole lot of money, but I think it's a whole lot of watching. Come on, Clint Eastwood. You're feeling lucky, punk. And there you have it. Guys, I know just simply from the title of this episode, people are going to be furious in the comment section, but let's be honest, that's every one of my episodes. People get upset. You're ugly. Shave your beard. You're just mad that you can't afford an Invicta. Why can't the trolls ever spell your properly? Like, and they use your, because they make fun of me multiple times in a comment, so it's always like, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're jealous of whoever, but they use the wrong your. You'd think after using the same word, you'd like at least spell it correctly once. Never. But all jokes aside, which ones did I miss, guys? Or am I kind of just not understanding where Rolex is going? Let me know what you think. Give me your 2 cents. How do you feel about the direction Rolex is going? How do you feel about their modern catalog? Are you kind of a little bit more with me? Do you prefer their vintage offerings? Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, if you learned something new, if you had a chuckle, or if you hated it, who cares? Click that subscribe button, support the channel, hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of the content here. Go to the Amazon store, go to my personal website, support the things we do here, because let's be honest, if I get paid, my poor editors can get paid. They haven't eaten in like months, at least for sure, at least a few weeks. So the more you support me, the more, you know. We'll cut to a sad picture of Gato, and then this is my other one, just such a sad boy, Dallin. And Dallin, he's got a little bit wonky up here. So you support me, you support these two happy lads. But seriously, guys, like, comment, subscribe, share this with other watch enthusiasts, other people that you think would enjoy this. I'm Jory Goodman, the time teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time, I just tell it. Real quick, if you enjoyed this episode, then do not worry, the fun doesn't need to stop here. Check out these recommended episodes that are gonna be popping up on the screen anytime now. Also, take a moment, check out my brand new channel, the Time Away channel. It's where I talk about everything outside of the watch world, some of my other collections, some of my other hobbies. And if you're not interested in any of that, don't worry, just stay right here and I will see you right here. Because I never leave. I am trapped inside of this camera.